Hey everyone, I just wanted to talk a little bit about this little play test came out. Old School Essentials put this out on this Halloween 2022, and it's looks pretty cool, pretty interesting. It's Necromancer Class they had for your Old School Essentials slash BX game if you so choose and wanted to. Yeah, it's free. It's free and it's still in playtest mode, but it's a free download on Drive Through RPG. I'll put the link to it in the description below. But yeah, it's a Necromancer class, and it gives a class, the spell list, and a bunch of spells that are available for the Necromancer. A few that I've never seen or heard of. So let's take a quick look at this and see what everybody thinks about it. Looks could be fun to me, but I don't know how you'd feel about this in your game if you allow. It doesn't say that the character has to be an evil character, but I don't know how the rest of your party, unless you're maybe running an all evil campaign or something like that, would feel about having a necromancer to the adding to the group. But or maybe you could just use this to stat out a your big bad evil guy or something in your adventure, and use this to make the bad guy the characters come across. But yeah, it looks fun. Let's take a look at it. So the Necromancer. Wizards who deal with the macabre mysteries of death and undeath are a staple of sword and sorcery fiction and fantasy gaming. While Old School Essential Magic class has access to some spells within the necromantic domain, for example, what does it say? Animate Dead and the Death spell, such magic is not the class's primary focus. And that's where we bring in the Necromancer, and that's their reasoning for making the Necromancer. They necromancers wield magic in the undead, offense, control. Um, yeah. Uh, Introduction for the necromancer in the new campaign. Uh, could be included as a roster of character type players may choose from when creating a character. Or it says here we go. So necromancers can be easily introduced into ongoing campaigns as NPCs, making you could use this to make compelling villains. It says so. Yeah, just what I said a few seconds ago. And here's another good idea. Alternative scrolls of necromancer spells may be placed in treasure hoards, giving PCs limited access to the field of necromantic magic. So, yeah, let's say you don't want to use a class, but you want to give your players something different. So they find a treasure hoard, defeat a big bad guy or something, and then yeah, you can put one of these different spells as a scroll, or maybe you'd have a tome of a spell book with a few of these spells in it that the caster could use, and maybe you could even play it off of if the magic user in your game's using these. Maybe it starts to slowly corrupt them or has some type of adverse effect if they keep using them after a while, or maybe it would age them or something like that. So, yeah, just another idea with it. So, um, yeah, the necromancer requirements, all right, minimum wisdom of 9, prime requisite intelligence. So, if they have their intelligence is high enough, they'll get a bonus to their XP. Hit die, same as you'd expect for a caster, 1d4. Level caps at 14. Same as other casters. They can't wear armor. Dagger for their weapons. It says you could also allow staff as an optional weapon. So I would probably be okay with that. Languages, alignment, and common. Um, yeah, okay. Necromancers are adventurers who study the arcane arts of death and undead. Uh, Arcane magic. They spend time. Okay, it's typical as you expect for a magic user. Spend time and money on magical research. Allows them to add spells to their book. All right, so yeah, like you also reach upon reaching ninth level, they are able to create magic items. Spellcasters, okay, as spellcaster necromancer, are able to use magic scrolls of spells on their list. And they can also use items that may only be used by arcane spellcasters, such as magic wands. Makes sense. They are, however, not able to use magic items with effects that charm or control living creatures. So there's a little caveat there, including humans. It gives an example: a ring that controls animals. So yeah, that's a little drawback to the class. So yes, they cannot use magic items with effects that charm or control living creatures. So yeah, ring of animal control, things like that, wouldn't be able to use it. So maybe I guess something like charm person probably wouldn't be able to use either. Huh. Okay. Um. Yeah, combat. Once again, we get into their restrictions. That once again they can only use daggers and or staves if you allow them to use staves, and they're unable to wear armor of any kind. Upon reaching 11th level, this is where they may build a stronghold or I guess a wizard's their equivalent of a wizard tower. They call it a great tower in this, and they can have a D6 of apprentices levels 1 to 3 will then arrive to study under the necromancer. So yeah, you got your little flunkies, I guess you could send out into the field. Maybe if you're playing, your necromancer gets high enough level, and let's say you start a new campaign, or you just want to maybe play a different adventure at a lower level. You could see if your DM's okay with it, and maybe use one of these apprentices to go out on the new adventure. Just an idea. Then I guess you might. Then I get that way. You also have a built-in person that can inherit the treasures or whatever of the older necromancer too. Something you could do. Um, level progression. Yes, they start at level 1. It caps out at 14, and the spell level in this goes, since they do cap this at 14, like traditional BX. It caps out at 6 level spells at your highest. So I guess you would just, if you wanted to make this go further, like if you were so inclined, if you want to take your BX to the next level and maybe use the old D&D companion rules, I guess you would just keep following this formula for XP for level progression. So in what companion rules you can take, they think they go up to, oh geez, what, level 36 if you're so inclined to do that. Probably have to have a real committed party and stuff to get them that high. By that time, I don't even know if you're not that many. It seems like it take a lot of years to get your character that high. But I guess maybe you can do it, or if you just maybe want to do a higher level one shot, I guess you could do that too and start them out at one of those higher levels and do some high level planar type things or something like that. Yeah, but yeah. So if you want to take this past level 14, I guess I would go look for the old uh, TSR companion rules. And here's their spell list. There's some things on here I recognize from from first ed, AD&D, and things like that, but a few that I don't. They could be in there, maybe I just don't remember. But there was a few on this list I thought looked really cool. Skull speech, that looks like a neat one. Maybe we'll try to take a look at that real quick. We'll see what that does. So second level, we have bone armor. So I guess instead of bark skin or something like that, you get a armor of bone somehow. Whether or not you can just apply that to yourself or your party member, I don't know. Skeletal steed, that's been in other books. Spectral hand, that's been in others. Mm, Carrion stench, I don't remember that one. That one sounds kind of maybe a fun one. Maybe that does some type of con thing or something to somebody. Fear, that's been there. Hold person, that's been another one. Skull trap, I'm not sure what that is. Um, what else? Command undead, that's cool. Skeletal wings. That sounds like a fun one. So maybe you can give yourself flight, or maybe you can apply it to somebody else in your party and give them flight. Um, Wall of Gloom. That sounds like a neat one. Bone Steel. Skeletal Army. So yeah, that's a level 6 spell. So I guess maybe you can you're high enough level and you can guess may rise an army of skeletons that come to your aid. Undead regeneration. So maybe you apply that to your skeletal army when they get beaten down enough. So let's take a look at that. What was the first one we wanted to look at? We wanted to take a look at. Well, all right, let's take a look at Skull Speech level 1. All right, Skull Speech, 1 turn per level, range is 60 feet. Caster may cause a single skull within range to speak in a rasping whisper. The caster may cause the skull to utter any words desired. It is not possible to cast spells via the skull. An undead monster skull may be caused to speak. Intelligent undead may save versus paralysis to resist. So yeah, maybe you could use a skull in a room and maybe a weaker monster or something like that. Try to intimidate them with a talking skull. Sounds like it could be a fun little thing to do. All right, second level spells. Here was the other one. Bone armor. Okay. Now this is cool. Duration is permanent until destroyed. Range is the caster. So plates of jagged bone surround the caster, acting as a formidable suit of armor. The bone armor grants AC 5 if you're using Thaco, or 14 for ascending. Any creature that successfully attacks the caster in melee suffers 1d3 damage due to flying fragment. Oh, that's cool. So you get attacked and they start hitting you while you're wearing that armor. They're going to take damage. Not a great amount of damage, but damage nonetheless from fragments of your bone coming off. And the armor lasts until the caster suffers 5 points of damage plus 1 point per level. And then the armor is destroyed. Huh. So yeah, I guess this is what the Necromancer has instead of bone armor. Let's see if find another fun one spell to take a look at. Skeletal Steed, that's been in others, but that's still a really cool spell. Skull Sight, huh? Here we go. Carrion Stench. This is a level 3 spell. Duration 1 turn per level. The caster or creature touched. Alright, okay, so you could do this on a person in your party, or I guess somebody else that's an enemy. Subject views a nauseating carrion stench detectable up to 60 feet away. All living creatures within 10 feet of the subject. Oh, so this will affect your party, including allies, but excluding the caster must save versus poison or suffer a -2 penalty to attack rolls due to nausea. Affected creatures suffer the nausea effect for 1 turn after leaving the subject's presence. Okay, let's find another one or two cool looking spells in here. Skull Trap, permanent until triggers. Range, Skull Touch. The humanoid skull is enchanted to explode on contact. Okay. So yeah, maybe you set up a skull in a room and put something underneath the skull. It prompts somebody to want to pick it up, and when they do that, it explodes. The explosion is triggered if the skull is touched by a living creature or is otherwise forcefully contact. Treat as AC 7 or armor class 12 for purposes of firing missiles to hit the skull. A 10-foot blast radius of violet flame and necrotic energy happens when the skull is set off. Creatures caught in the blast suffer a D4 damage per level of the caster with a successful save versus spells indicating half damage. That's kind of neat. So you set a little skull bomb up. Okay. And let's try to find one more that looks kind of fun. Here we go. Skeletal wings. Duration 1 turn per level. Range 10 feet. Okay. Conjures a skeletal horse with ragged bat-like wings that will carry the caster or another designated person upon its back. Okay, so it's not wings growing out of the caster like I thought. So this is conjuring a horse that has wings. So I guess like a skeletal Pegasus or something of the sort. The steed can carry one rider and up to 3,000 coins of weight, and any weight beyond this causes the spell to end. When the duration expires, the skeletal horse crumbles into dust. So I guess maybe if you're needs some extra help carrying coins or weight or something like that, you have a way, maybe a way to get your loot from the dungeon back to town. You can maybe load a person up and on the horse and get the loot back to town. I don't know if they'll have time enough to get back or not, depending how far it is. Okay, so it only lasts 1 turn per level. Okay. Lasts a little while. Okay. Yeah, so and then this gives the stats for what the skeletal horse is. Oh, it has a pretty high armor class. Oh no, it doesn't. I'm sorry. It only has an AC of 7 or for Thaco or 12 if you're not using Thaco. 2 hit die. But yeah, fun little thing to charm and use, and maybe to carry some weight out of the dungeon, or an extra an extra little buff into combat if you need to. Alright. Oh, it doesn't have any attack, so won't be much help in combat. But maybe it can get you out of combat and you can escape and live again to fight another day. Alright, so yeah, that was a fun little supplement that's come out from that they put out on, which I thought was pretty cool, pretty nice for Halloween 2022. It's available. This playtest version is available on DriveThruRPG as a free download. So yeah, well, if you have time, you like BX style RPG, role playing, game playing, yeah, you might want to check this one out. Looks like fun. See, I guess that's all I have to say on this. Get a minute, download it. It's free. Check it out. Maybe inspiration for something else, even. Who knows? All right, we'll talk to you guys later.